Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Andrew and this is the ExtraAmo channel. Today we're going to talk about the new P226 X-Carry Legion from Sig Sauer. Let's get into it. Okay, so first off, I was able to get this to fit into a Safariland holster that is designed for a P320 with an X300 light. And it works all right. Seems like the retention is fine. And it doesn't move around too much. Finding holsters for this has been interesting. Now, previously, I had a 229 that I really liked. It was sort of my carry version of a 226. Now that this exists, I got rid of my 229. I don't need it anymore. But it's like a different size now, which also means that it's different possibly from other 226s. So I gotta make sure it's good, and I'll shoot it a little bit. My wonderful cameraman was able to cut and let me know that I didn't have my eye protection on. So safety first, guys. Now I can shoot it. I like it. Okay, so some of you might be wondering, perhaps, why would you go from a perfectly functioning Sig P229, right, in 9mm, which is really kind of just a small version of a 226, to this? And the thing is I don't know if it's me, I don't know if it's the gun. I think it might have to do more with that really being designed around 40 cal initially, but the geometry of that was just different enough that I could never get it to shoot like a 226, which is kind of like my favorite gun. So I had issues with the 229. I carried it because it was smaller and it was okay, but I want to see how I can group with this at 20-ish yards here. Hopefully it groups closer to where my 226 was and better than the 229. Otherwise, I've spent a ton of money getting rid of one and going to another for potentially no benefit. All right. See how I did? Or how it did, I should say. All right, so those of you who have already seen my 2011 video or know that I am just terrible at shooting, even with a race gun, I can't group. But with this concealed carry small group, I am able to get, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the A zone, and I whiffed one into the C zone, probably because I'm nervous and on the internet. But I was never able to, certainly with a little bit of stressors introduced, get groups like that with my old 229. So yes, money was worth it. Hooray! Okay, so cameraman definitely earning his paycheck today. Of course, I don't pay him because I don't make any money from this. But you guys, you can go and you can like and you can comment and you can subscribe, and that'd be really cool. Still probably not going to be able to pay you. This stuff is expensive. But he did earn his paycheck. He reminded me of the other reason why this is so cool. This guy is now taking the 18-round 226 magazines that are flush fit, standard capacity, YouTube, standard capacity magazines. And that is a reason to jump over this from the 229, lower capacity on those. I think out of the gate it was 15 rounds. So that's pretty cool. What isn't super cool and what I wanted to talk a little bit about here was holsters. I got really lucky with this 320 holster, being able to still lock and fit, especially with the light. Now, I think I'd get a little bit less rattle if I went with an X300 light on this, possibly. But as it sits, I'm okay with it. Now, for concealed carry, I went and got a T-Rex Arms holster in the coolest of colors because it was like limited, and I said, why not, right? I know everybody's just hating on that company or something. I know there's all sorts of drama, but they still make a good holster. But what I did is I ordered a 320 holster with the TLR light I've got on here because the internet told me that that would work with this gun, and it does seem to work okay with this. It's a little tight, definitely tighter than I'd like. You can definitely get it out, but it's tighter than I'd like. I may have to make some adjustments there. And when I ordered this, I was really smart, and I ordered it with the 320 sidecar mag. So I did have to heat this up a little bit and use the press I actually have for Kydex holsters. But I was able to get this in here and satisfactory amount of retention on that. So I will be able to run this the way I normally run some sort of sidecar setup. Gonna give it a shot, see how I like it over the next few weeks. I shoot it okay enough. Definitely want to get some more rounds through it before I jump over. But if you are looking for a holster for the new, and again, when it comes to SIG stuff, right, they got 18 million names for everything, right? So it is the 226 X Carry Legion. I think you need all of those because I think there's been a 226X, and I think there's been a 226 Carry, and I think there's been a 226 Legion, but I think when you put them all together, you get this guy. Now, also on here, I've got the Sig-Lock enclosed emitter optic. Was not what I was going to originally put on here. I really like Trijicon RMR HD. It's kind of like my favorite optic, front-facing light sensor. I think I've already ranted about that on the podcast. Go listen to my podcast. But I was going to put that on here, and it does fit. There's ways to convert it. You can either do it with a plate or not with a plate, depending upon how much you want it to sort of move around. I put it on there, and there was absolutely no chance that I was going to be able to co-witness the sights. And even if I were to swap out to suppressor height sights, it's a big gap. So that didn't really seem like a great option to me. And we had just got these Sig-Lock optics into the shop, so I'm giving it a shot. Not having any parallax issues with this model, which is supposed to fix some of those issues because of the longer, I guess, sight radius or internal radius, you could say. But it is a small window, and I have grown accustomed to big windows. I like the SRO. I like the RMR HD. So it's just going to take a little getting used to get on target, but it's not too bad. A few more reps, and I should be right there. And it is a carry gun. I keep telling myself, like, smaller optic is good, closed emitter is good because they're easier to clean. But I am pretty happy so far. I like that it shoots more like 226. Now, I did go with the single action only model. Wasn't my first choice, but I've been shooting my competition gun a little bit more, which is a 226 Reserve, which is very fancy, and it's got a very similar trigger to this. I'm getting good at the turning off the safety and doing all of that stuff. So as somebody who carried a Glock for a really long time, I kind of hate safeties, but in this platform, now that I'm getting more and more reps with it, kind of like having the safety there. Beyond that, the trigger is definitely nicer than the 229 trigger, but that's to be expected. It's definitely nicer than a stock 226 trigger. Still has 2 stages to it, guys. So if anybody's telling you that it is like a 1-stage trigger, that's not true. There's still a take up to it. You still feel that wall, and then a crisp break through it. So if you are somebody who's concerned about this particular gun because, you know, you're coming from Glock and you really want that 2-staginess, this is not like a 2011 trigger, right? Which is just that single stage, which, you know, again, you may have seen in my last video. I definitely need some more time, a little bit more work on. But for now, I'm into it. I'm going to run it. I am going to test the crap out of it and continue to find different things, holsters and stuff that work for it. But in the meantime, I've been Andrew. This is the ExtraAmo podcast, and thank you for coming to my lead talk.